Not long ago, we had a big election. Well, I say a big election. They have one every 4 years. And every 4 years they say this is a really big election. This is the clearest choice we have had in a generation. And the choice you make will determine the future for the coming generation. Boom, 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 boom. Like that. A week before the big election, I was at work, and people were talking about what else? They were talking about the big election. And they were all agreed there was only one possible choice. Not that they were thrilled with their candidate. No, quite the contrary. He was a disappointment. He had turned up lame. He said things, made promises, and then didn't follow through, did not deliver. Blamed it all on the other side. Wasn't as forceful as they wanted him to be. Disappointing. But he was certainly preferable to the other guy. That other guy. He was unthinkable. Are you kidding me? If he got in, he'd destroy the country. He was un-American. What he truly believed, and was careful never to express, was contrary to everything the country stood for. Worse, his character was essentially deceitful. The guy went around pretending to be respectful, even sanctimonious, but he wasn't fooling anybody. He's a robot, an automaton, one person said. He's an empty suit, a front. He'll say anything. He's a weasel. He's such a weasel, another said. Oh, give him credit, said another. He's smarter than that. He's a chameleon. He comes across as being whatever anybody wants him to be. You can never pin him down. I'll tell you what he is, exactly what he is, said someone else, because it's worse than that. He's a sick fuck. That's what he is. I can't believe he's running for president of this country. I think it's a total disgrace that someone like that is running for the highest office in our nation. The mere thought of him winning. You're right, said the one who had called the candidate a weasel said. He is a sick fuck, and anybody who votes for him is also a sick fuck. Many eyes swept the room, searching for a potential sick fuck. The next morning, I got an email from a friend. It was tagged 0 Hour in America. He was deeply concerned about, what else? The upcoming big election. He wasn't happy with his party's nominee. The guy was not as strong as he would have liked, and no wonder, I could not help but think, for this nominee was the very one my co-workers had agreed was a sick fuck. But this other guy, my friend went on, this other guy is what they call a clear and present danger. He's a smooth operator, I'll give him that, he wrote, but I disagree with everything he does. Everything. If you look at his record, he's consistent. From the outset, he's pandered to the people's fears and weaknesses. I sometimes think about that old movie, The Manchurian Candidate, and I wonder if our enemies haven't somehow managed to place a guy like this among us who eventually winds up running for president. How clever could that be if they could pull that off? Have one of their own as the leader of our country? Because that's the only explanation I can come up with, the only theory that explains his economic policies and his basically traitorous positions in our relations with other countries. He's undermining our military, he makes conciliatory gestures to our enemies, he insults our allies. He really frightens me. I wouldn't think a guy like that could possibly succeed, but there he is. Sometimes I think he's the devil himself. So this time, it really was a big election, a real choice. I could vote for the sick fuck or the devil himself. Not an easy decision.